Hi, I'm Steve Thompson. This is Sadie, our Chief of Security, and I'm president of Emery Thompson Machinery. We're a 108-year-old corporation producing batch freezers for hard ice cream, Italian ices, and gelato. In fact, over 96% of all Italian ice in the world is made on our machines. I personally have been making Italian ice and teaching people how to do it for over 40 years. What I'd like to do today is go over the real cost of making your own Italian ice, and especially comparing it to, well, you might be thinking of buying your ice, or maybe you already do. And I want to show you just how much money you can save. So bear with me, I've got some numbers and notes here, and we're going to go to the whiteboard, and I'm going to spell some of this out for you. I think you'll be surprised. Let me show you first what you think you're paying for Italian ice. You're probably being charged roughly, $24 for a tub of ice. Add to that, you have to have it shipped from, say, New Jersey or the Midwest or wherever you are. And shipping is one of the most expensive things. So for each tub, it's going to cost you roughly $10. Now that's a cost that's going up constantly. Shipping costs in our business, we see it all day long. They're rapidly rising, mainly because of the price of oil, and that's not going down. So that's a cost. This one may remain relatively stable, but this one, the shipping cost per tub, is a pretty scary number. Once you get the ice, you have to store it. And you probably can't store it in your own home because the commercial people who are making ice, and they're all using my machines, they're selling it to you by the pallet. That is a huge container full of ice. You don't have nearly enough room for it. So you're going to have to go out and get refrigerated space just to keep that ice. So we'll give it a conservative figure and say another $3 to store the ice until you sell it. So that's a total cost of not $24 per tub, but $37 for each tub of Italian ice. That's what your true cost is. Now, let's move over here a little bit, and we'll go into what it would cost to make your own. There's three different methods for making, say, lemon ice. We'll use lemon ice as our example. The least expensive way would be to use a lemon extract. You've heard of extracts before. If you've ever baked a cake, you use vanilla extract. Well, we have extracts for all sorts of different flavors. It's the cheapest way to make Italian ice. It may not be the best way in most cases. Sometimes it becomes absolutely necessary. If you want to make bubblegum Italian ice, there's no bubblegum trees growing here in Florida or anywhere else that I'm aware of. So we use a bubblegum flavor, a bubblegum extract with our sugar and water to make bubblegum Italian ice. For pricing purposes right now, we've got the extract here, and we use sugar and we use water, and that's what's in our Italian ice. So let's see what that would cost. Let's see, the lemon extract is going to be about $1.20. This is all based on a 3-gallon tub. The sugar is $1.75. And let's see, the water, gee, if we charge 5 cents, it's way over. So using an extract, it's going to cost $2.90 to make your 3-gallon tub of Italian ice. And since you're making it at home or in your own business, you don't have the shipping charge and you don't have the storage charge. So that's a big difference between $37 and $2.90. Now back over here, a better way to make the ice is using a base. I happen to use iRice Company out of Philadelphia. They have wonderful flavors. They're great people, very nice company. And they make a lemon base that can be used to make the lemon ice. That's going to raise the cost a bit, but it's also going to make the flavor better. So let's go over to the board and see what using an extract would cost. Let me get a pen here. Excuse me, using a base, not an extract. We already did that. So the base, let me get my pages here. Here we go. The iRice base is going to cost for this 3-gallon tub $3.75. The sugar, again, $1.75. The water, And the total cost is now going to be $5.55. Not bad. You know, we're still way below $37, $5.55. Let me just say something real quick about the water. You don't need to filter your water in most cases. You just use the regular tap water coming right off of the sink. An example I use is here in Florida. We're in Brooksville, Florida. We don't get tourists. We have cows, we have horses, we have pigs. We don't have tourists. So anybody growing up here is used to the water. The water is terrible here in our part of the state. A lot of minerals, just awful taste. But if you grew up here, you're used to it. So if you have Italian ice made from it, or an ice pop, or a diet soda, it doesn't bother you because you're so used to the taste. Now, if you're down in Miami, well, everybody in Miami is from New York and they're on vacation. So there you have to filter the water because they're used to what it tastes like in New York or Chicago or San Francisco. So you get a simple Culligan water system and you soften the water, you take the minerals out, and now you've got a great water for your Italian ice. So we've gone from $37 to the cheapest way to make ice, $2.90, to a better way of making it with the iRice product at $5.55 for a 3-gallon tub. And let me just point out, that's a 3-gallon tub right there. That's how much we're talking about. Now, the way I like to make it, and keeping it fresh, is using fresh lemon juice. Fresh squeezed lemon juice, sugar, and water. Now, you don't have to squeeze lemons all day long. I didn't. I bought a 5-gallon pail of lemon juice that was already squeezed, and you can get it with the pulp in it, which is excellent. And so all the work was done for me. It was sent to me, again, in a 5-gallon pail, refrigerated. And all I had to do was just ladle it out, and I'm ready to go. Makes it nice and easy, and makes a fantastic product. I think fresh is always the best way to go. But again, if you're having bubblegum ice, you can't do fresh bubblegum. You've got to use the extract. So let's look at the cost of the lemon juice. The lemon juice per quart came out to $4.25. Most expensive so far. The sugar, again, $1.75, and the water, 5 cents. So my total cost using fresh lemon juice is $6.05. And that is a much better quality product, far below the $37. So I did some math on this, and I found out that the difference, pretty simple math, the difference between the cheapest way to make it, the extract, and the most expensive in your net profit is going to be $3.10. Now, how did I get there? Let me go back a bit. We get out of the 3-gallon tub, let's go over here, pick up the tub. Out of the 3-gallon tub, we're going to get 384 ounces of product. We're going to give a 4-ounce portion. You can give more, but I like to use 4 ounce because McDonald's has already done the advertising for us. You know, the quarter-pound hamburger. 4 ounces is a quarter-pound of Italian ice. So we'll divide that by 4 ounces. We get 96 servings out of this 3-gallon tub. If we sell it for $1.50, that's pretty cheap. You can probably get $2, but we're going to sell it for talking purposes for only $1.50. And we're going to get 96 portions. So we are going to make $144 per tub is our gross. Take away our cost for the fresh lemon, running out of room here, minus the $6, and we have a net profit using fresh lemon juice of $138 per tub. $138 is your net profit out of this tub. Now, the difference between making it absolutely fresh and making it using the extract, the cost difference, the net profit, is $3.05. So for $3.05, you're making the world's best Italian ice, fresh fruit Italian ice. I think at these profit margins, 138 bucks, you can afford to give up a little bit to get a fresh product. Why do you want a fresh product? Because the extract is mediocre at best. That's what you're buying for $37. You're buying an extract. Making your own and making it fresh, you're producing a product that people are going to come back to. They're going to say, it's not, oh, they eat it. Oh, yeah, at the baseball park. Yeah, that was an Italian ice. Big deal. But they had a real Italian ice, one with fresh fruit in it. It was fabulous. They remember it. They tell their friends. They come back. And what are we talking about? An extra couple of dollars on every tub. So you can see it not only pays to make your own ice, but when you can, you make it as fresh as you can. Now, I do use all three levels of ice depending on what I'm making. If I can do it fresh from the supermarket, that's great. That's what I'm going to do. But then there's something like, say, mango or root beer or maybe even cherry. A little more difficult to find the ingredients, so I'm going to use an iRice base and pay a little bit more. And then as I said, with the extracts, if you want to make bubble gum or any exotic flavor like that for which there is no natural flavor, then you use an extract. But all in all, that tub is making you $138. And I think you can sell that, and I think you could also get more money for it if you wanted. But you're going to at least make $138 out of every one of these tubs. And instead of giving someone $37, you're keeping almost all the profit. So in a minute, we're going to switch over, and I'm going to show you how to make the fresh lemon ice, and we'll go into how to store it, and we'll do that in just a second. Okay, now we're ready to make the world's best lemon ice. And this formula, along with many, many other formulas that are at our website, emerythompson.com. That's EMERYTHOMPSON.com. In fact, every machine comes with the name on it, so you can find the website quite easily. We also have our help desk up there if you ever have questions about the machine. But along with the 44 YouTubes of different flavors, we also have about 37 hours of instruction on how to run the machines, how to make different products, because they don't just make Italian ice. We're responsible for virtually every bit of hard ice cream that you've ever eaten, from Haagen-Dazs to Ben & Jerry to Bluebell to Breyers to Bressler's. All began with Emery Thompson. If you go to an old-fashioned homemade ice cream parlor, you can bet it's probably an Emery Thompson in the back making the product. We're going to concentrate on the Italian ice, though. I've got my water, my sugar, and my lemon juice. Now, since everything is going to be ultimately mixed in the machine, I don't have to do a lot of careful measuring. I have 7 quarts of water here, but it's so full it'd be a little difficult to work with. So I'll just take some of this water and put it into another container. And again, it doesn't matter how much because it's all ultimately going to end up in the machine. And then I've got my 3.5 pounds of sugar. So let's put some in there. Sugar dissolves quite nicely in cold water. And so it's not a problem. You don't have to buy any special sugar. In fact, you buy the cheapest sugar you can find. There is no difference between Domino sugar and the cheap stuff at the supermarket. It's all coming out of the same refinery, in our case, up in Georgia. So get the lowest price sugar that you can. It all works the same. So I've got my sugar and water here, and I'm just going to stir it up to dissolve it. It doesn't have to be perfectly dissolved because the machine will do that. Now, we're making this fresh today, and we're getting ready for the weekend. Today is Thursday, and so we're probably going to make up several batches of lemon ice, put it into our freezer, which I'll show you next, and build up an inventory of ice. The commercial stuff that you buy was made somewhere around July 10th to be sold to you on August 10th. So it's got a long lead time. It's also had a greater vacation than you have. It's traveled halfway across the country, most likely. And it's just not fresh. In fact, it's quite old. It's subject to the trucker turning the refrigeration unit on and off. Those of you who buy your ice, if you've ever had it where the flavors all bled to the bottom, I can tell you what happened there. The truck driver, wanting to save diesel fuel, shut off the reefer for a few hours, and the product warmed up and the flavor sank, and then he turned it on again and it froze back up again. If he's carrying green beans, who cares? But with your Italian ice, that's why it's sinking. So we'll pour this in. This is the Emery Thompson 12 quart. This makes one 3-gallon tub of Italian ice every time we run it. And with this machine, if I wanted to do some of the more exotic Italian ices like Ralph's does in Staten Island, where he's making Oreo cookie Italian ice, I can put my Oreo cookies right in. In fact, shortly after we do this video, we're going to be having another seminar. We have, I think, about 36 or 37 hours of instructional video seminars at our website. And I'll be doing a flavor when we make that video that no one has ever seen before. So you're going to want to keep tuning back to Emery Thompson to see what we've put up next. Here's our fresh lemon juice that I squeezed last night. And that's it. Since I'm going to sell this over the weekend, hypothetically, if I had a store, I'm not using any chemicals. I'm not using any stabilizers. So this product is all natural. It's cholesterol-free, sodium-free, 0 fat. So it's practically the perfect food. So we'll close that up. We're going to turn on the infinite overrun control. This is a device that allows me to adjust the speed. So if I want to make Haagen-Dazs 1 minute and a higher air content Breyers another minute, I can do it by just changing the infinite overrun control. This is something I invented 11 years ago and is exclusive to Emery Thompson. Since we're doing Italian ice, we're going to go to full speed because air is not really a factor. So we're up at maximum speed. Now we're going to turn on the refrigeration so it gets cold, and we'll set our very sophisticated timer here. There we go. And while that's running, let's go through the steps of what you do with the ice after you make it. So we'll take our 3-gallon tub, and it has just come out of the machine when we're finished in about 30 seconds. And we're going to take it over here and we're going to store it in a freezer. So again, if you buy your ices, you have to rent freezer space somewhere in town because you've got about 200 of these tubs and no place to put them. You're buying a month's supply at a time to try to get the shipping costs down. And that's the only way they sell it, is in large quantities. I think the very minimum I've ever seen is 100 tubs. That's a lot of refrigerated space that you have to rent and you have to drive to get your ice. Here, I'm set up in my own space. I've got my batch freezer. I've got my handy dandy Sears chest freezer that I paid $500 for. And if I need more space, I'll buy another one. And if I need more space after that, I'll buy yet another one. So this is set to about 0 degrees Fahrenheit. The product came out at about 19 degrees above zero. And this is set at 0, so I'm going to put this in here, and then I'll be making more ice. I'll be making cherry, grape, watermelon, chocolate, mango, all these different flavors, and I'll put them into my freezer. This becomes my inventory for the weekend. And if I need more inventory, like I said, I get another one of these cabinets. Now, Friday night at 10 o'clock, I look at the weather, I turn on the weather channel, and they say tomorrow, Saturday, is going to be beautiful, sunny. I know I'm going to sell a lot of ice. So I'm going to take the ice out of here, which is now set at 0 or thereabouts, and it's as hard as a rock. You couldn't scoop this with a hammer and chisel. But it's 10 o'clock at night, and I won't need it till 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I'm going to move it over to my serving cabinet, which we call a dipping cabinet. And I might have a larger one than this for my business. This is just a small one that I have. And I'm going to fill this up with different tubs of product, put it down in there, and between 10 o'clock tonight and 9 o'clock tomorrow morning when I need it, it's going to temper, it's going to warm up. We call it temper. It's going to warm up to 16 degrees Fahrenheit, which is what I have this set at. 16 degrees Fahrenheit is the temperature ideal for scooping Italian ice. So it went from 0 up to 16, and I'm ready to go to work. Now, if the weather report says tonight, Friday night, that it's going to be a cold, rainy Saturday, and I don't think I'm going to sell much lemon ice, I would probably keep one of these in here, but I would leave the rest of them back in here. This is where my inventory is. And so I just keep it down in here if the weather's going to be bad. Well, you know the weather forecast is often wrong. You know, they really get it wrong. So I'm expecting a rainy day, and I don't even think I'll go through one tub of ice. All of a sudden the sun comes out and I'm going to need more product. Well, I can just take it out of here and move it over to my dipping cabinet. As volume gets bigger in the store, and again, I want you to open up this business with as little money as possible. But as the business grows and you're going to need 10, 15 of these, there's no reason why you couldn't put, say, 4 in your serving cabinet and then another 10 of these into a cabinet just like this, which we have warmed up. We've turned up the temperature on this to match the dipping cabinet. So in a big operation, I made the ice, I put it into 0 degrees, and then I moved a lot of it over to, say, 12 degrees, 14 degrees, and then from 14 degrees, I'm moving it to my dipping cabinet. That's as your business grows larger. As far as serving it, the dipping cabinets work very well. We use these floppy door cabinets. The other type of cabinet is a visual display cabinet. That's when you go to Baskin-Robbins and you see the glass. That's called a visual display. They're okay for ice cream because ice cream is served at 6 degrees above 0. But Italian ice with the sun beating down, it doesn't hold its temperature very well. These cost less, and we don't make it. You buy it from 2 other American companies, Nelson or Masterbuilt. And you can always call here and we'll put you in contact with those companies. But these are relatively inexpensive to buy. If you're running a push cart, you would go from here and directly put it into your push cart. And with your push cart, you might use dry ice, or here's something I found. This is like the blue ice that you put into your children's lunchbox, except it's in the shape of an Italian ice tub. This whole thing is lined with the blue ice liquid, and we freeze this overnight in the freezer. And so overnight, that gets nice and cold, and then we take it out, and we put our Italian ices right into it like that, and then this goes into the into the push cart, and we don't need any more refrigeration. This will keep for about 5 hours, according to my tests. So there's different ways to sell the product and move it around. Our product is over there and is still freezing, and we'll come back in a couple minutes and pull it out and see how it looks. Well, we're back, and I think it's just about ready. Do you agree? Sadie has got an internal clock. She's been making ice for 11 years and knows exactly when it's ready. Let's turn off the refrigeration, and here we go. You ready, Sadie? Oh, look at that. Look at how fast that comes out. Fantastic. Pure white because it has no artificial colors or chemicals in it. Just the real deal. There's a whole nice 3-gallon tub. Man, that's beautiful. Is that 4 paws up? Yeah, she's licking her tongue. Isn't that beautiful? That's a nice looking product. Now, if you're from New York, we serve it in what we call a squeeze cup. You just put it in there. Of course, in your dipping cabinet, you'll freeze it a little firmer, and we just squeeze it by. Oh, that's good. Squeezing up from the bottom. Now that's Italian ice. Here is sorbet. Sorbet is the same product with a fancy name, a little fancier dish, but instead of $1.50, now the high-end restaurant is getting about $5 for that. What a deal. Now, if you'd like more information on Italian ice or ice cream or gelato, go to our website, emerythompson.com, where you'll find now 45 YouTubes to watch, about 37 hours of instruction, all sorts of articles on Italian ice, where to buy the ingredients, our company information. We have even free DVDs that we can mail you that will show you more about making Italian ice and ice cream. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. clock. He's been making ice for 11 years. Let me know when it's ready.